I'm going to show you how to file your homestead exemption in Collin County, Texas. Also, wait until the end for clarification about tax protests. But first, what is a homestead? A homestead is a residence that is owned by an individual, a married couple, or a trust. It cannot be owned by a business, and it cannot be an investment property. It needs to be your primary residence. What is a homestead exemption? It's a tax rebate on the appraised value of your home. In other words, with a homestead exemption, you get to lower the property taxes on your primary residence. How much is a homestead exemption? For many years, it was $25,000. In 2022, it was raised to $40,000. And in 2023, it was raised to $100,000. So if your assessed value is $500,000, you'll only pay taxes on $400,000. Also, the homestead exemption makes sure that your property taxes cannot be raised by more than 10% per year, which can be helpful when we experience a high appreciation year. If you're over 65 years of age or a disabled person, meaning you qualify to receive disability from the Social Security Administration, you can receive an additional exemption from school district taxes. If you're over 65 years of age and qualify as a disabled person, you have to choose either the over 65 or the disabled exemption. Being over 65 also qualifies you for a tax ceiling on the school district taxes for your property, meaning that they cannot increase while you're in the home, and you can transfer that ceiling to your next homestead. When should you file? Typically, the deadline is April 30th of this year to apply for last year. However, you can file a late exemption up to 2 years later. What do you need in order to file? You need a driver's license that shows the current address for that homestead. So if you just bought the home, update your driver's license with the new address first, then apply for the homestead. And if 2 people are on the deed, you need both people to update your driver's licenses. Before I go any further, please like this video if you find it helpful, subscribe if you'd like more practical real estate content like this, comment below if you'd like clarification on anything or if you'd like for me to make a video about another real estate topic. And if you want to contact me directly, my information is in the description below. Let's talk about how to file for that homestead exemption. Okay, if you've received your appraisal notice for the previous tax year, you'll see an owner ID and PIN number on that notice. You can use that owner ID and PIN number to create an online account and file your homestead online. You can do that at efile.collincad.org. If you don't have the appraisal notice, maybe you just moved into the house this year, don't have that notice yet, maybe you got it in the mail and threw it away immediately because you didn't know it was important, or maybe you've lost it. No big deal. You can still go online, print off the form, mail it in. I'm going to show you how to do it. First, you Google Collin County CAD, C-A-D, that stands for Central Appraisal District. They're going to help you with these kind of things. Go to the home page, click on Forms right here on the right, then click on Residential Exemptions. And Residential Homestead Exemption is the top one. You can see it's been downloaded 1,669,011 times. That number is going to be different for you. In fact, comment below. Tell me what the number is at the time that you watch this video. Here's the point. This is done a lot. It's done a lot. And so this is the thing to do. You should file for your homestead exemption. Click on that exemption and you're going to need the property ID and geo ID. The way that you get that is by going to property search. So go back here to property search. Put in your address number and address street name. You'll find that property ID and geo ID. If you're filing late for the previous year, just put that previous year here. Now, most of you are going to put general residence homestead. That's what this video is about. And so you'll be clicking here. Now, there are other things that you can qualify for. If you have any questions about that, first of all, if you qualify, click on those things, right? This is if you qualify for disability through the Social Security Administration. Also, feel free to comment below. I'm happy to help you with that. All sorts of opportunities for you to get exemptions. Were you receiving a homestead exemption on your previous residence? If you were, click yes. If you weren't, click no. All right? They want to make sure that you only have one homestead at a time. You're only allowed one homestead at a time. Are you transferring an exemption from a previous residence? If you are, click yes. If it's within Collin County, they will automatically transfer that exemption. So if you're moving from McKinney to Plano, they'll do it for you automatically. If you're moving from Austin to Plano, then you will need to call up the Travis County CAD and get information about removing your homestead from that property, adding your homestead to the Plano property. They'll send you an email. You will print off that email and you will include it with this form and copies of your driver's license, okay? So the main things that are needed are this form, signed and dated, copies of your driver's license and your spouse's driver's license. I don't know why those balloons are showing up. I'm just going to let that go. Copies of your driver's license or your spouse's driver's license And then if you're moving from another county, you'll need an email from that county saying that you're removing your homestead from that previous residence. Print that off, include it with the driver's license and this form. Are you transferring a tax ceiling limitation from a previous residence? So if you're 65 or older, you can file for a tax ceiling limitation on what you owe on school district taxes. If you're transferring that from another residence, go ahead and click here, and then you put the previous residence here, the previous county here. Some of these will be yes, some of these will be no. Just depends on your situation. Do you own the property for which you are seeking an exemption? That better be yes, or else they're not going to give you this homestead exemption. All right. Now they're saying that you need to attach a driver's license or a state issued ID. If you're a single adult, click here. If you're a married adult, married couple, you put in your name here and your spouse's name here. You'll need birth dates. You'll need your social security numbers or your driver's license number. And then right here, just put 100. All right, put 100 for both. You both own 100% of the property. I don't know if that's intuitive or not. You might think that you both own 50, but you actually both own 100%. Put your phone number, your mailing address. Is your mailing address different from the property address? Likely it's not going to be. If yes, explain why. Section 3, property information, the date you acquired the property. Okay, so that would be your closing date when you bought the property. Date you began occupying the property as your principal residence. So that could be your closing date. Sometimes there's a lease back involved. Sometimes it takes you a while to move from one state to another or one city to another. So right here, that's your closing date. That's when you own the property. Right here is the date you actually moved into it as your primary residence. You can put the address here. You don't have to put the legal description here. Don't worry about that. Number of acres. You can also find that on property information. Likely it's going to be a fraction, especially if you live in Collin County. Actually, there are some places in Collin County where you can get more than an acre, but if you live in Frisco, McKinney, Plano, likely you own a quarter of an acre is a nice amount. So you'll find that on the property description. Do you have an exclusive right to occupy this property because you own stock in a co-op housing corp? Co-ops are much more prevalent in Manhattan, New York, than they are here. So for most of you, it'll be no. Is any portion of this property income producing? Okay. I have clients who have moved into a house and rented out several rooms to friends. That is not what this is talking about. This is talking about a property that produces agricultural income. So if you own 5 acres and you got corn on 4 of it and you're selling that corn for a profit, you would click yes here. And then 4 out of 5 acres, that would be 80%, right? Now, that doesn't affect your homestead, but after 5 years of owning a house and producing agriculture on that house, you can file for a separate ag exemption. So that's why they want to know. Now, section 4, most of you won't need to check any of these boxes because you'll just be identifying yourself with a driver's license. Now, if you don't have a driver's license, you can check to see if you qualify for any of these exemptions. Is the applicant identified on the deed or other recorded instrument? Hopefully, yes. Hopefully you are on the deed. And look at your deed, call up the title company, find the filing number for that deed and put it here. If you're not, documentation is required, and so likely you're going to need to provide that deed. Is the property an heir property? Hopefully not. If it is, click yes. If yes, do other heir property owners occupy the property? At this point, if you're getting involved in this, if it is an heir property, if there are other heirs involved, I'm going to advise you to contact a real estate attorney. I'll include the information for a real estate attorney in the description below. And then affirmation and signature. That's all it is. You just print your name here. At this point, you will print out the form. Again, I'm not telling you to fill it out exactly as I filled it out here. I haven't even filled out all the blanks, right? We've talked through everything. You fill it out according to what's true of you. Print your name here, sign, date, and then you will mail it in along with, again, copies of your driver's licenses. Both people, if you're married, need to send in a copy of your driver's license. Again, with the balloons, I don't know why that's happening. And you also need to send in an email documentation from another county if you're moving from one county to another. And you'll mail it to this address right here. Okay, regarding tax protests, remember that there's a difference between your market value and your assessed value. You're going to get an appraisal notice in the mail from the county. When you receive it, you'll see the market value and the appraised value. The market value is what the county believes your house could sell for currently. The assessed value is the amount at which they have valued the house for the previous tax year. The assessed value is the amount on which you're going to be taxed, and that's the amount that will be reduced by $100K when you file for your homestead exemption. So why do they show you the market value and the assessed value? They want to show you that the market value is higher than the assessed value as a way of discouraging you from protesting that assessed value down further. Don't take the bait. You can still protest that assessed value even if the market value is higher on that appraisal notice. Subscribe for more helpful real estate content. Here's more real estate how-tos, and you might find this video helpful as well. I'll see you next time.